Hey everyone, Joe here. Thanks for stopping by today. And today we're just going to do a little something. We're approaching the end of July, beginning of August, which is, usually what we think of as midway through summer, but I'm thinking of it's actually sunflower time. So I know a lot of times people think that sunflowers are for the fall, but actually sunflowers are blooming right now. So maybe now is a time to just change up a little bit as we are transitioning through the season. And a lot of us that watch these kind of videos are thinking about fall and or even Christmas, like me. But it is time for some subtle changes. So I'm going to just do a little something here, and I mean a little something. So hopefully you'll stay tuned and see what I'm thinking about. All right, so I had this. This is actually a bowl here that a punch bowl. That's what I was looking for. That someone gave us, and it's really pretty. And I pull it in and out during the season. Sometimes I use it in the winter because it looks icy. And right now I have been using it since the early spring because I like the way it just shimmers and it plays off of these two candle holders on each side. But we're going to take it out right now and we're going to put something else here. So I cleared the table off and I'm thinking that perhaps I want to put something down on the table, a runner or a piece of fabric or something. So I just have to look around to see what I have that might be, gentle. I don't want anything that's too overpowering. My first thought was using this. This is a tablecloth, but not as a tablecloth, just as kind of like a piece of fabric. This is belonged to Mary Ann's mother. It's very delicate, and that's a possibility. Let me see if I have something else I might be able to use. I have these valances that actually go to the window treatments that I do have up in here. So that's a possibility to coordinate that. I mean, I could arrange these. They're very thin. I took out 3 of them, so possibly something in the center. I'll take a look at that. And then because I do have a lot of green going on in here, such as I have those pillows right there and the rug. I thought maybe the celery green panels that I have, these are panels as well, might look good scrunched up in the middle of the table. So let me take a look. So if I used my mother-in-law's tablecloth, this is basically how I would do it. And then I'll just put the object that I'm going to put here in the center. All right, this is what the valance panels look like. I have 3 of them. Actually, if I decide to use this, I would need a 4th one back there. But I like this because it has these tassels here that at each point there'll be one, and it's a little bit lighter. So that is, I think I'm leaning more towards this right now. And this is kind of like what the celery green one would look like. And just because I decided to layer the valance over the green, so yeah. So after assessing all of that, I think I'm going to go with the valance with the little tassels on it. I think it's light enough and it doesn't look, too overpowering for the heat that we are experiencing. We're still getting those 100-degree days, and any excess of anything makes me anyway feel extra hot. I think I'm going to use this lantern. For those of you who know me, you've seen it before and you know the story already. This was actually given to me by one of my first students that I had, not when she was a student, much later. She was in the process of moving. This was a light fixture in her house, and she couldn't bring it to the new house where she was going. So we're friends on Facebook still, and she contacted me and she asked me if I wanted to pick it up. So when I saw it, I didn't even realize how gigantic it was. And I didn't want it as a light fixture. So what I did was I took the entire inside out, all the electrical stuff, and I have it just as this, this lantern. And I use it periodically. Sometimes I use it for Christmas. Sometimes I use it in the fall. I'm using it right now because it has a great presence and it really fills up the table, and I like it a lot. So I'm going to start with this first. Next, I'm going to use 3 of these that I had made. These are Dollar Tree accessories. This vase, when I got it, it was $1. And then the tea light on the bottom holder, that was also $1. And I E6000 them together. And then I just added a little trim from the Dollar Tree as well. So I have 3 of them, and I'm going to put those inside the lantern. Next, just to bring it to some life, I'm going to add these cascading picks on. I've really cut down on the amount of these kind of things that I'm using because they tend to collect dust, and it's not great for breathing. So, once I take them away and then I clean them, and then every time I look at them, I'm like, oh, I don't want to put that back out again. But, for me anyway, I need it. I know some people think it's completely tacky and they don't like to use anything like this, but, that's everybody's taste, whatever. So I like it only because it'll bring this piece to life for me anyway. So the first time I hung them both from the top and it looked like a big clump. So what I decided to do was I hung the thinner one up there, and then the next one I hooked onto the edge of this and just let it cascade out how things are going on in the summer now, as all the vines and everything are really growing like crazy and everything's all over. So I tried to mimic that look. Now, I promised you sunflowers, so I'm going to put some sunflowers in here. So I went through my sunflower stuff, and I was very particular in only picking out the ones that had strong yellow tones. Some of them have, and especially the ones I have a lot of orange in them, and I did not want to use any orange tones right now. So I wanted to keep it bright and fresh and yellow. So like I said, I specifically picked these out. All right, I'm going to start placing them in there and see how that looks. All right, so sunflowers are in, but it's lacking something. It needs something. And this is the same problem I always have. I think, well, it needs some more in there. And that's when Billy Idol comes into my head. Rebel yell, he wants more. More, 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 more. It's never enough. So I have these green picks, and I'm going to place them in spaces like that. So I placed them in and I wrapped everything around each other. All right, let's take a look at it. It's hard to see right now because there's so much glare, but in the window, right across from the table, I put these giant sunflowers in that vase that I redid back at the beginning of spring. And on the front door, I have a sunflower wreath as well. So I got my sunflowers going on in 3 places. Okay, buddy, thanks for stopping by today, and join me for the next one when it comes up. All right, take care. I hope everybody's doing well. Stay hydrated and be careful out there. Bye-bye.